So what's up, guys? Ninja on a Ninja, and basically I wanted to make a quick political video for you. Um, basically, there's a problem with the left and the right, and the left and the right need to understand that there's parasites in both parties. The left, the parasite is dictatorship. Basically, that's kind of like the hero that they have, which is Trump, and then why they have the Trumpism and MAGA. It's top down economics, basically. And on the right, what happens is the top is being generous and they want to give, but the problem is the middleman. And basically, what happens is, 100 goes down, 90 of it goes into the pocket of the managers, and then 10% goes to the people. That's happening on the left, basically. And that's why you hear this argument right here.
Public sector. That looks at how much it costs to is imposing regulations on private companies, and it's making it hard for those companies to act, to do business, etc. But this happens first and foremost on the government itself. One of my favorite examples I've been using lately, there's a new RAND report that looks at how much it costs to construct a square foot of housing in California, in Texas, and Colorado. And it does it on two kinds of housing, market rate, and it does it on affordable housing subsidized by the public sector. And the cost of creating housing in California, market rate, is 2x in California what it is in Texas. But when you get into that publicly subsidized housing, where you have all these new standards and rules and regulations being triggered by the addition of public money, it goes up to about 4.4x. And so you have this real problem, I think, in a way of governing that evolved in the 70s, the 80s. There's a kind of small government version of the Democratic Party, the new left, more individualistic, that was worried about too much exercise of government power.
Basically, that's kind of essentially what's going on. That's why the cost is so high. There's rules and regulations, sure, but that's not the problem. The problem is the people enforcing those rules and regulations. It'd be like, I will admit that I've been pulled over, and there's cops that are just like, whatever, I'm not gonna listen to you. Worry about it in court. It's not my problem, basically. And that's kind of what's going on. It's not my problem. Go talk to him. Not my problem. And that's what's going on. And then everyone just kind of like fuck it, and they just pay and leave. And there's no one, like everyone is willing to settle in like a lawsuit. They are willing to settle out of court. And the problem with that is they can keep on doing what they're doing, except in cases where you're involved. If you're involved, they have to stop, basically. So you can go into this is where I point to the Paul Reyes. I think that's Sean Paul Reyes. I think of his example where that happened literally for police precincts where no one's allowed into a video camera unless it's specifically him, which isn't right because everyone's supposed to be able to do it, but no one's pushing as hard as him, so they just folded it for him and let no one else push because no one else is, basically. And that's the problem. That's exactly the problem. The world, literally, the reason why the costs are so high, like the homeless problem, for example, they put like $1 million down to help the homeless, and yet they're still homeless, and it doesn't cost me a million. Like if I had $1 million, I'd be in a mansion, bro. I have cars. You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck is going on? Like I could at least house like 10 homeless people with $1 million a year. You know what I'm saying? I could house 10 of them, no problem. In fact, some people live off of $20,000 a year. Like it's not that much. You know what I'm saying? It's just they're cheap. They're snakes. It's and that's basically the problem. I'm not gonna get too into it, because it's the philosophical end. Basically, get into it, but that's the issue. That's the problem. That's the scenario, and that's what they're pointing to. So on the left, we see top down politics, trickle down economics, and it worked for a while, and then it stopped. But what happened is instead of affecting the whole nation, eventually we caught on, and Trump made it very obvious to a lot of people and not so obvious to others, which is why we got the MAGA people. And that's why the nation is split, basically. So they want top down economics, and we're tired of it because we're fed up with it. But At the same time, we see the top putting money, or some of us see the top putting money, and then some other people are like, "Why don't you give us money?" And they are, right? And they're putting money into the system. But the problem is the middleman's taking it all, putting it in their pockets, and saying, "Oh yeah, they only gave us like $5,000." Well, really, they gave them $1 million, and then it's like, why the fuck do you have boats and cars and like hell shit? Oh, I don't know, but you're just a social worker. Uh, and the same thing, I could say the same thing because I worked at Walmart, I worked at Family Dollar, Food for Less, like all these places, basically. And the manager doesn't work. I worked at the 99-cent store. The manager sits in the back, does nothing, scratches his balls, and sniffs his finger, like all fucking day. That's all they do all fucking day, unless they get called. Then they will work, but then nobody wants to. Oh God, you called me again. What do you want, Becky? God, I'm sorry. Just and that's kind of how it is. Like, I was so busy and he's cleaning his nails. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens. That's what's going on. That's actually why I got fired from Walgreens because I was willing to fight that. Basically, there was a worker there that was saying, "Oh, I cleaned the freezers." He didn't clean them. He lied. He said, "Oh, I was gonna get to it." No, you weren't. You lying, manipulative little bitch. Basically, so I got fired because of that. But the thing was, the manager that actually runs the store, it was the exact same way. You know what I'm saying? She didn't know because she wasn't getting involved, basically. And that's the problem with the world, right? So it's like everyone's willing to say, but no one's willing to stand up. And that's the problem. No one's willing to get up and investigate. And the people that do investigate are involved get ignored or not trusted, or they sell out and they lie too. You know, that's basically what happens. And the reason why is because the nice guys finish last, basically. And I know, like, oh, I'm tired of that trope, but it's true. Nice guys finish last. And as much as you tell people get involved, just go say hi, they're not gonna say hi because nice guys finish last. That's just who they are. You know, insecure people is just how it goes. Basically, it's a problem because fake it till you make it literally has taken over America. Basically, and then the sheeps are home now, and it's time to actually be a farmer and do your job. But now everybody's like, "Oh, I quit. I leave, bye. And I can't do it. What the hell?" None of them actually know what the fuck they were doing. They were just willing to take the money, and that's what the managers were, by the way. There were people that weren't there to work, weren't there to be managers. They were just there to get paid the manager's wage, and that's it. That's all they wanted with the job. But they didn't realize that you're taking, like, the manager actually does stuff that you're not, basically. And that's what's going on, is the people who don't know are taking over, and so things are being undone, and that's becoming the cap, and so we're going backwards slowly. But anyways, that's it for you for now. We'll see. But that's it for now. We'll see. Take it easy, be real, be happy, be safe, and peace.